So it is recess time on October 7th. Now I'm sure you're probably going, where's the October 6th video? Well, it didn't happen. So I figure I'll do both today instead. I felt like I needed to kind of have a mental health night off after work, wanted to just kind of hang out and not have to worry about editing a video. So I think it was needed. I also have a family member who is ill, and it's kind of making childcare a little difficult, and that's adding a little extra stress as well. But I'm hoping that things will be okay, at least until Tuesday. But for now, I will share my mood boards with you on Pinterest, and I'll do my day 7 activity as well. So I'm home. I picked a really bad year to do Preptober. If I don't laugh, I could cry, but I'm home. I figure now I will show you my Pinterest board for Remember Me, and then we'll talk about what I was supposed to actually do today for Preptober. So my disclaimer is that I take no credit for these images. They are all what I am using for a mood board. My little synopsis says, had a dream where a girl sees a blue light from her bedroom every night since she's had a terrible accident and made her have long-term memory loss. Or at least that's what she's made to believe. That's pretty much stayed the same. It's a lot of other stuff that has added on. So I feel like it has kind of morphed. And again, this is super spoiler heavy. I didn't even realize about that, but we're too late now. As I think I mentioned in a previous video, Raya and Cole are not really from Earth, and there's a whole big long story about that. But their home planet, called Sahana, looks a lot like Coruscant in Star Wars, or like a metropolis planet. So there's a lot of images of that. A lot of this mood board is also like high fashion, like stuff that Raya would wear. And again, I'm trying not to give away too much, but a lot of it is like clothes. And like also, I talked about Artur, the other character, that he's not like one of my main point of views, but he is an important part of the story. And a lot of it is like his fashion as well, because he is, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, he's like the emperor of Sahana, and he gets to wear all this fancy schmancy stuff as well, like this one right here. So a lot of it is clothing, a lot of it is character inspiration. Like this is Willow Shields. She was Primrose Everdeen in The Hunger Games, and she's who I kind of picture as my Raya. There's a little bit of what Stillwater, New York would look like. This picture right here is actually my college campus, and that's kind of what I envision when they're walking around the college, because there is lots of colleges in New York, but there is no real SUNY Stillwater. So, and then just some other different outfits and things. I don't know if I have any pictures of what I think Cole looks like. Here's an actual dress from Star Wars. I'm going to just scroll through, just mostly like clothing and aesthetic, and I'm trying to see if there's anything else here. A lot of it is like that planetscape. I thought this would be a really cool top for a dress, but not the leotard part. More, pretty blonde girls with blue eyes. Raya has a tattoo that kind of looks like this. That was an old character inspiration for Cole, but I don't go with that anymore. There's some different images of the blue light. And, again, spoilers. Yeah, but I like that whole silhouette and mysterious blue light. The other task that I have to do for October 7th is to write like a college essay or having my characters sell themselves. I'll be honest, I really don't want to do it, but I really need to get back on the bandwagon here. I have like one of those headaches you get from stress, but I'm hoping maybe if I do it, I can reward myself with some takeout and some YouTube videos. So I'll be back in a little bit. All right, I'm back and I did it. It's not as long as I probably would have done on a day that I'm not super stressed out, but it was enough. I'll give you a little synopsis without actually reading the whole thing, but Raya eventually, once she is let out of the hospital and moves into her group home, because she is in the state of New York, there is the State University of New York system, and I made up a pretend campus in Stillwater, and they have a program called the Golden Opportunities Program. They let anybody in. It's like a pass fail kind of situation. So her essay is really just more thanking them for giving her the opportunity to figure out, like, who she is and what her interests are again. Her main goal is to eventually get out of the group home, and that taking these classes will help her be able to do that. Now, for Cole, it's a little bit more complicated because in Cole's previous life and home, he was actually in his planet's Air Force. And there's a whole big stigma about him being an orphan and his last name. And we're going to find out that through a lot of his life, he's kind of had to deal with people looking down at him and thinking that he's not worthy. I did like what I did in the beginning here, where it said, how many people in the Athorian house have gone to school after Remedial Academy? It's like high school. I said in the history of all the Athorian houses throughout Sirhan, there's only been about 100. And how many have enlisted in the Air Force? He said 2 men, and he hopes to make it a third. And his was more of a persuasive essay where it explains that, he's the top of his class. He works hard with his house mothers, because we're going to learn that he was never adopted. He ages out of the system. And I think one of the other sad things we learn about Cole, too, is that he just wants to have a place of his own. This Preptober book that I am doing, the Tyler Van Riper Hyde, 1 week is for plot, 1 week is for character, 1 week is for setting. You pick the strongest of those three first. So I chose character. This has been in my mind for a long time, and I've been even, plotting it before I started Preptober. So I feel like I know my characters pretty well. I think this week helped me get to know Cole better, which was kind of cool. But like Raya, I started off writing it just from her point of view. So I feel like I kind of have a good idea. So I feel like plot, I have everything outlined, but I still feel like, especially with adding Cole's point of view in now, there's just some things I have to kind of flesh out and figure out before I really start writing. I just want to make sure everything that I'm writing is meaningful and that I'm not kind of all over the place and having plot holes. So I'm hoping that this will help with that starting tomorrow. All right, I think it's probably the best for everyone if I leave us here today. I'm gonna go order myself some fried chicken. Bye.